In today's new age way of thinking, people aren't just believing what they read and hear as religiously as they once did. They are starting to question authority and starting to question the things around them that affect their everyday lives. One of the most important part of a person's life involves what they put in their mouth. And up until this point, most people didn't care how the food they received was grown. Once agriculture started to become public knowledge, questions of food origins started arising. People wanted to know if the food they were feeding their families was harmful, and the answers were often grim.
One of the biggest movements in the last decade has been the call to switch from synthetic agriculture to the more natural version called organic farming. Organic farming is the basic definition that as an organic farmer, you don't use synthetic fertilizers or pesticides to nurture or defend your plants. People started to open their eyes to the damaging effects these chemicals have on planet Earth and the effects they have on the species that reside there.
Each year, an estimated 911 million pounds of synthetic pesticides are applied to conventional agricultural crops throughout the U.S. These harmful pesticides then go into our shared earth, air, water, and food. By age 5, millions of children have ingested up to 35% of their entire lifetime dose of some carcinogenic pesticides just from their food alone. Only 1% of all imported fruits and vegetables are tested by the Food and Drug Administration for illegal pesticide residues. It is estimated that worldwide there are 1 million human pesticides poisonings each year, with about 20,000 deaths. In the U.S., 67,000 non-fatal pesticide poisonings are reported each year. Nearly every U.S. woman has pesticides, dioxins, and PCBs in her breast milk. DDT levels commonly found in breast milk would be forbidden if found in cow's milk. DDT in the body has been strongly correlated with increased breast cancer. These harmful chemicals can also be passed to children through breast milk and in the womb. DDT is also the chemical that is very well known for its negative effects on the bald eagle. In the mid-1950s, Charles Broadley, a retired banker from Winnipeg, Canada, began to suspect that pesticides, specifically DDT, were to blame for the decline of bald eagles. In 1942, DDT was considered a miracle, the answer to all the country's insect problems. It killed every insect it came in contact with. It was sprayed extensively along the coast to control salt marsh mosquitoes. Farmers sprayed the pesticides on their crops, which eventually ended up in streams, rivers, and lakes. It was not until the early 1960s that Mr. Broadley's suspicions were found to be correct. Not only were bald eagles being harmed by the pesticide, but birds all over the country had died. This is just one of the examples of what pesticides can change drastically. There are many more tragedies out there just like this. But do we even know what they are? Switching to natural pesticides may change our lives more than we think.
The use of DDT and other synthetic pesticides does not only affect bald eagles and other birds, but affects our primary ecosystems and the plants and animals that thrive around them.
Because the bigger, the faster, the better is our mindset. They can make a bad garden or lawn look good much quicker than most organics can. However, it's not only are they extremely dangerous, as previously mentioned, nutrients are released too quickly, creating a great deal of top growth before the roots are able to catch up. This kind of growth leads to weaker plants, so an organic garden may grow slower, but the plants will be much happier and healthier, making you the same. There are many ways to incorporate organic fertilizers and pesticides into a garden, to make it grow even bigger, stronger, and healthier than that of a synthetic garden. Instead of using damaging amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are the leading ingredients in fertilizers, which make its way into the water stream, one might use compost from a house kitchen to richen the soil until it's a deep black house of nutrients that can naturally strengthen your plant. Organic fertilizers can include seaweed, fish emulsion, humates, molasses, bone meal, corn gluten meal, green sand, lava sand, Epsom salt, compost, worm castings, chicken manure, hydrogen peroxide, lime, minerals, and many more. Instead of using toxaphene to fend away aphids from your roses, you might instead turn to another kind of insect, such as a ladybug, to fend away aphids and other small predators. Or you can use praying mantises to attack the slightly larger pests in your garden. Using insects to fight insects is a much more natural and less destructive way to defend your plants from pests. For larger crops that letting loose insects may not be enough for, a concoction of tobacco in spray form can fight off many different types of bugs.
Agriculture is the #1 known cause of habitat destruction, which is causing the depletion of our primary ecosystems which house native plants and animals. 12 to 15% of the world is primary ecosystems, which on the large scale is nothing compared to the amount of world that has been separated to incorporate industry and agriculture. This is a serious environmental problem, and as guests on this planet, we are part of the solution.
Organic farming is a science that can still be expanded. There will soon be no need for chemicals running into our drinking water or being ingested through eating produce. When all natural products become the only thing available in today's consumer market, the world would become a much happier, healthier place. Happy plants
Equals happy people.